on Monday, President Bola Tinubu rewarded Nigeria's triumphant the Tigers basketball team with a massive honor package. Each player received $100,000 cash, a plot of land, and a prestigious Officer of the Order of the Niger award. That's the OON. Now, the coaching staff also benefits significantly. They also received $50,000 and the same national honor. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who announced this reward in representing, of course, the president of the country at the State House reception on Monday, said the ladies, of course, did the country proud, and of course, it followed a 5th consecutive AfroBasket championship. The Tigers, of course, defeated Mali 78-64 in Ivory Coast on Sunday, and the achievement breaks Senegal's previous record of 4 straight titles from 1974 to 1981. Nigeria now holds 7 total African titles, and their winning streak stands at an impressive 29 games over 10 years. Now, Captain Amy Okonkwo earned MVP honors for the 2nd straight tournament, and the victory also secures Nigeria's spot at the 2026 FIBA Women's World Cup. Let's get some of the highlights of the event on Monday.
OON nationality honors for team, coach, and technical team. $100,000 for each player. It's not yet over. There are other goodies coming. $50,000 for coach and technical team, each member. And wait for the final icing on the cake. 1 plot each for players, coach, and technical team. Your Excellency.
All right, Naira or dollar reign for the Tigers after the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Joining us to look at these wonderful gestures from the federal government is a sports journalist. Adetola Faruk joins us this afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining.
Yeah, good afternoon.
All right, a lot to say that it's a good time to be a Nigerian, and of course, what else when you put your hat out to go represent your country, you should be rewarded, and so far so good. It has been rewards upon rewards, for our national teams, and the latest being the Tigers. How significant is this reward package from President Tinubu for the Tigers, and what message does it send about the value of sports, particularly for the women in Nigeria?
It's of huge significance, to be honest, and to me, I think that it will send a lot of waves across the global space of Nigerian sports. It shows that the girls' child finally have hope, they have something to fall on, and they also have inspiration to always look at in the future. Gone were those days when we prioritize sport for guys, for male athletes. Now, the girls have been rewarded for doing a very, very good job. And if you even look at it in contrast to the male sports, from basketball to football, the ladies, the women have been more successful in all ramifications. But I'm not saying that the sports are equal. Yes, the stress barrier is much more, it's different, to be honest. But for the ladies, for women, it shows that they would be honored and they deserve all they are getting now. For me, it's unprecedented, something that none of us expected would happen, considering the fact that in time past, we have not been a dominant factor, a force, as far as basketball is concerned, both male and also female, in this country. Yes, we know we have the talent. We know we have those that can, take us to the next level. But the consistency, the success have not been this, dominant in a long time. But now we are reaping the reward. But the most important thing is that the government also identify, also appreciate, and also rewarding everyone doing the right thing at this point. So for me, the girls have done the job in a very, very spectacular fashion. The Mission 5, according to them, has been achieved, something that no other team on the African continent has done in the past. And for anybody to beat that record now, then you have to be super, super good. than they digress.
All right, I want to take you to what's on the streets and what people are saying at the moment. Other sports are saying that if football can get this recognition, and basketball can get this recognition, how about sports whereby an individual goes on to win a title? For instance, maybe the likes of Anoluwapo Peyori when he does, badminton, the likes of other sports whereby they go out and win. Do you think that they should also get this, privilege, of aside getting a presidential handshake, also being rewarded? When you look at also what they've given, especially for para badminton, you also look at the lady who is doing a lot at the moment when it comes to para badminton. What's your take on this particular issue?
I think that we have to be very careful about how we trade with the current sensation that's going around now. Yes, everybody deserves to be rewarded, but you have to also put it into proper context. Yes, sports is an avenue for you to also enrich yourself, but most importantly, these sport athletes have put themselves on the line. A lot of them get, they get, either monetary or even landed properties. For those that have, stood out, to be honest, they deserve every recognition these girls are getting. To badminton, to athletics, to boxing, combat sports. Everybody deserves to be rewarded once you're able to,
Also is Jidechi Chideze. Jidechi, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me again, Theo.
All right, Jidechi, let me just bring you straight to this. It's no longer news that the Nigerians have got into the Tigers of Nigeria after winning the title 5 times in a row. That's the AfroBasket title. I was asking Faruk about other sports aside basketball, individual sport like badminton, where you go on to win gold and also dominate the African scene. Many of them have not been recognized this way. What do you think about that? Should they also be get this equal privilege of also being rewarded handsomely by the federal government? And also looking at the federations, now the athletes are benefiting. For instance, basketball is benefiting in terms of the athletes, the players of basketball team, but the federation is suffering in terms of funding. Look at Super Falcons of Nigeria benefiting, but the league, the Nigerian Women Football League, have not gotten enough when it comes to finance to run the league. So what do you make of this also?
When the first happened, the president hosting the Super Falcons, that was huge. That was worth it. Much needed for the psyche of the girls. They had worked so hard. They very much deserved everything they got. But, I did have an issue. And I think it was the issue of the long term. In Nigeria, there's always that tendency for us to think about solving things only for the short term. We never think about how much of the impact of what we do in that short term it would have on the long term. And we can already see just a little bit of it. That's almost a week or two later after the Super Falcons won did what they did on the continent. The Tigress went to go and do what they could do for their own end. And of course, the conversation about how we also deserve to be hosted came up. And it sets the pace for every other major team that go forward to fly Nigeria's flag high at continental or global levels. They now will believe that they too deserve to be rewarded in such vein. And the problem is this. We are rewarding the stars that just executed these feats, but there are many more things behind them. Take, for instance, the sports federations. They are being neglected. People, we should be talking about the growth of and the development of each of these sports industries. And here we are getting carried away with the rewarding of the athletes and the technical staff just alone. I think the best thing here, and I hope, but I think because it's Nigeria, it's almost possibly going to be very difficult to see that actualized, is the fact that we need to set a system. And I think this is a more sustainable strategy where we set a system so that there's enough finance for each sports ministry, or rather for each individual sports federation, to take care of the acknowledgement of these athletes, so that when the team of individual athletes go out, like something like a badminton where it's an individual athlete, or table tennis where you have individual athletes, so that when these athletes go and represent Nigeria.
All right, we must go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation, and of course, it's still in the game on News Central TV. Welcome back. You're still watching In the Game on News Central TV. We've been talking about the world of basketball, the reward from the federal government on the Tigers of Nigeria, and I have Faruk Adetola with me and Jidechi Chideze having their thoughts on the conversation. Jidechi, we had to go on the break before you landed with your thoughts. I'll allow you just finish your thoughts, and then we'll come back to Adetola and then wrap up basketball scene.
I think the crux of the matter is this is not a sustainable way to go, because we can't keep doling out cash to, or rather the presidency can't just keep doling out cash and houses to athletes that perform. There needs to be a system for federations to take care of these things, and then when it's a case where there are no athletes from that in that sport that is really doing so well, the federations can channel the money into other things. So in my opinion, yes, it's good for the athletes, it's good for the technical staff, but it's not good for the sports, the individual sports that we have in the country.